the village of Somnath slumbered. Nestled between the Arabian Sea and the embrace of the Western Ghats, it was a place steeped in the scent of salt and the murmur of ancient stories. The fishermen, their faces weathered maps of the sea, called it home. Among them were three friends: Vijay, the eldest, his eyes wise and knowing; Rajan, the strong one, his hands calloused but gentle; and Arun, the youngest, his laughter as bright as the midday sun. They were as inseparable as the tides, bound by a shared love for the sea and its bounty. The day's catch had been plentiful. The men sat together, mending their nets, sharing stories and laughter. Their laughter echoed through the village, a familiar comfort in the gathering dusk. The air was thick with the smell of wood smoke and drying fish, a scent that spoke of home and hearth. But tonight a change was in the air, a subtle shift that sent shivers down their spines. The sea, usually a source of comfort, seemed to hold its breath, its vast expanse an inky void under the fading light. Night fell, a suffocating blanket of darkness. The moon, usually a beacon in their nocturnal journeys, was absent, swallowed by a sky choked with unseen clouds. An unnatural stillness settled over the village, a stark contrast to the usual symphony of crashing waves and rustling palms. Even the crickets seemed to hush their chirping as if holding their breath. The air, heavy with salt and the promise of rain, clung to the men like a shroud. Vijay, ever attuned to the moods of the sea, felt a prickle of unease. He scanned the horizon, his eyes searching the impenetrable darkness. "There's something not right tonight," he muttered, his voice barely audible above the gentle lapping of waves against the shore. Rajan, usually jovial, nodded in silent agreement. Only Arun seemed unfazed, his youthful exuberance blinding him to the growing tension. A low hum vibrated through the air, subtle at first, then growing in intensity. It seemed to emanate from the heart of the sea, a haunting melody that sent chills down their spines. The fishermen, their faces etched with concern, exchanged uneasy glances. The sound was like nothing they had ever heard before, a mesmerizing blend of beauty and terror that held them spellbound. Then, on the distant horizon, a point of light emerged from the depths of the sea. It pulsed and flickered, casting an eerie, otherworldly glow on the water's surface. It moved closer, growing larger with every passing moment, until it took the shape of a woman. She was ethereal, almost translucent, her form shimmering like moonlight on water. Her voice, when she spoke, was the sound of the waves themselves, both alluring and terrifying. Arun, captivated by the figure's unearthly beauty, took a step toward the sea. His eyes were glazed, his body moving as if in a trance. The woman's song seemed to weave a spell around him, drawing him closer to the water's edge. He moved like a sleepwalker, oblivious to the calls of his friends, his gaze fixed on the ethereal figure that beckoned him forwards. "Arun, no!" Vijay's shout sliced through the night, sharp and urgent. He lunged for his friend, his hand grasping at empty air. Rajan, his strong arms reaching out, was a moment too late. Arun, with a final dazed smile, stepped into the surf and was enveloped by the ethereal woman's light. The sea, as if awakening from a deep slumber, roared around him. Then, just as quickly as it had appeared, the light vanished, leaving behind only the echo of the haunting melody and the terrified cries of two friends. "We have to save him!" Rajan roared, his voice thick with panic. He plunged into the churning water, his powerful limbs battling against the surging waves. Vijay, his heart pounding in his chest, followed close behind. The sea, once their playground, had transformed into a raging beast, its depths concealing an unknown danger. The ethereal woman reappeared, her form flickering in and out of existence. Her song, once alluring, now resonated with a chilling menace. She moved between them and Arun, her laughter echoing across the waves, a mocking counterpoint to their desperation. Vijay, summoning a strength he didn't know he possessed, lunged forward, his hand closing around Arun's wrist. He could feel the icy coldness of the woman's magic, the pull of the depths threatening to drag them both under. "Rajan, help us!" Vijay cried out, his voice hoarse with exertion. Rajan, his face a mask of grim determination, reached them in a surge of foam and fury. He grabbed Vijay's free hand, his grip like a vice. Together they fought their way back to the surface, gasping for breath. The ethereal woman's song rose in intensity, a crescendo of fury as they escaped her grasp. The first rays of dawn pierced through the receding darkness as they stumbled onto the shore, dragging a limp and lifeless Arun with them. They collapsed on the sand, their bodies racked with exhaustion and terror. The storm, as if mirroring their ordeal, began to subside. The waves, though still restless, lost their furious edge. The ethereal woman was gone, vanished with the receding darkness, leaving behind only a haunting silence. Arun coughed, seawater sputtering from his lips as he drew in a shuddering breath. He looked around, his eyes wide with confusion, his body trembling with the lingering chill of the sea. He remembered the song, the unearthly beauty of the woman, the feeling of peace that had enveloped him as he walked into the waves. "What happened?" he whispered, his voice barely audible above the rhythmic crash of the waves. Vijay, his face etched with concern, placed a comforting hand on Arun's shoulder. He hesitated, unsure how to explain the unexplainable, how to put into words the horror and wonder they had witnessed. He looked at Rajan, who shook his head, equally at a loss. Some things they realized were better left unsaid. The village of Somnath slowly came to life, oblivious to the terrors that had unfolded on the beach just hours before. The sun climbed higher in the sky, painting the sea with hues of gold and azure. But for Vijay, Rajan and Arun, the world had irrevocably shifted on its axis. The sea, once a source of livelihood and comfort, now held a sinister undercurrent. They returned to their routines, repairing their nets, preparing their boats, but the memory of that night lingered like a shadow. The ethereal woman's song echoed in their dreams, a constant reminder of the unseen forces that lurked beneath the surface of their world. Their laughter was less frequent now, their silences filled with unspoken words. The bond between them, though, had only strengthened, forged in the crucible of fear and shared survival. Life in Somnath continued, the rhythm of the tides dictating the pace of their days, but something had changed. The fishermen, once eager to venture out into the deep, now did so with a newfound caution. They spoke of the sea in hushed tones, their eyes scanning the horizon with a mixture of respect and fear. The ethereal woman became a local legend, whispered about in hushed tones around crackling fires. Some dismissed it as a figment of their imagination, a trick of the moonlight. Others, however, believed. They knew in the depths of their hearts that the sea held secrets, ancient and unknowable, and that some depths were better left undisturbed. And so the village of Somnath, once a place of simple joys and unquestioning faith, learned to coexist with the unknown, forever marked by the haunting melody of the sea's enigmatic call.